All right, to watch this video for Monday, November 21st. Keep in mind this is the Thanksgiving week, so market trades Monday, Tuesday. I don't even know if Wednesday is a full day or half day. But things can be crazy on Thanksgiving week. A lot of speculators come in sometimes, and you get some crazy moves. But overall, especially in the afternoons, volume's really going to die down. So I usually lower my expectations as far as daily profit average on a holiday week. Try to catch a morning trade each day, and then go out and hang out with family, right? So anyway, keep that in mind. This SPY is a red day on Friday, but hanging out near all-time high. So I'm still bullish on the market, or still bullish on my picks anyway. So here we go. Things I'm going to be watching on Monday. GLP. I mean, you got to have shippers on watch, right? GLBS made this, for lack of a better term, stupid move. It's almost, well, I don't want to say it's almost round tripped because it came from all the way down around $2 and now it's at 586. But this one is going to go on bounce watch for Monday. I will be using, and I'll just talk about dry ships now. I'll be using this one sort of as the leader. That's not a great term, but I'm going to keep dry ships on a chart. Right, and if it can get, and I'm not going to trade it because it just gets really goofy, spready, and it halts every 3 seconds when it does get moving. So what I do is I switch and play the sympathies, which I'll show you what I did Friday as an example in just a second. But so dry ships, if this one can trade in a narrow range for a while and then break to the upside on Monday, then I'll look back to this like a GLBS or some of these other shippers to possibly get long, hopefully still below its early high of day. All right, so and real quick, just to give you an example, I didn't trade dry ships on Friday, but I was just looking at another random, lower priced shipper as a sympathy play. Okay, so let's go to 2-minute candles, and I called this long in the chat room. I saw dry ships taking off, right? So I was able to call this long somewhere around, jumped on the mic somewhere when it was on the next candle, not this one, somewhere around the 480, 485 area. The red to green on this was another idea that I put out for people that didn't get it around 480. I said red to green is still a decent entry in my opinion, which is 489 because you have the high of day and a whole number 5 break just above for potential catalysts. And so here's what happened. And I think within just, I don't know, 4 to 6 minutes, I already had almost my daily goal in the bank. I scaled out some, but it ended up moving up higher without hitting the stop before coming back down. So anyway, it might just be the same thing on Monday. Some of these shippers, just a simple red to green, right? And keep an eye on dry ships as the sector leader. I use that term loosely. All right, so ESEA. And let me go to the daily here. This is another one, just like GLBS, is another one to possibly get long if dry ship starts to move up. All right, so that's another one I'm watching. BNSO had a really, really strong move on Thursday. Went from 169 to 425 on an intraday basis. Gave a lot of it back, and then a red day on much lower volume on Friday. So this one goes on bounce watch for Monday. I mean, when I see a move like this, I know that that's a potential moneymaker. You can, it's kind of a low float that can rip, right? So sellers came in. If those sellers look like they're going to fail in any way, shape, or form on Monday, I will get long, right? So that's why BNSO is on a chart. Doesn't mean I'll trade it. ORIG kind of broke out of this island down here to the upside, and then a couple days down on declining volume the last 2 days. You've got the gap fill. You're at the 5 or the daily 8. You're kind of retesting what was old resistance right here. So this one goes on bounce watch for Monday. HIIQ still seems a little bit far from the moving average to be watching for a bounce, but it made such a big move here from under 6 to almost 11 in 3 sessions. And then, if you look at it as it unfolded, then you say, okay, this thing's going to tank now, right? Sellers just flat out knocked this thing down, and look what happens. Right back up and engulfed this day, just about, right? Didn't quite engulf because it didn't take out the lows, but I mean, really, really strong move again. So a chart like this has my attention. Now you've got 2 red days lower on declining volume. Again, I don't like to trade things on pullbacks that are still kind of above the moving average, but sometimes strong stocks just stay strong. So HIIQ goes on bounce watch only with a proper intraday setup on Monday. SCON, kind of like that BNSO, huge move on Thursday, inside day on lower volume on Friday. I'll be looking for this thing to give me a long setup on Monday. If it doesn't, I won't trade it, right? URRE, really nice move here. Then you had the gap up, but it did find some buyers down in this 140 area on Friday. So I'm going to look for that one to maybe head up on Monday. Dry ships I already mentioned. That's just going to be kind of my template to watch for the other shippers. Okay, so there's dry ships. INVN, if I pan out a little bit here, you can see resistance, very clear resistance back here around 850. Here, right? All this whole time here. Came up in a a big volume here to kind of retest that area, and then it's been putting in lower highs ever since. Then it kind of broke this flag here, came back down, and now it's right back up. So I like it over, let's see, Friday's high was 816. This high back here was 818. So, 819, 820 might just get this to retest this 850 area. And if there's news behind it, had nice volume on Friday, by the way. If there's news behind the move, assuming the move even happens, maybe this finally takes out 850 and screams up to 9 or 950. So who knows, right? It's worth watching. But let's just say this gives me a setup around 819, 820, I get long, and it gets near 850 pretty quickly, I'm selling most, right? Because that's pretty good resistance. So that'll just be a trade for me, and I'll keep the rest with a break-even stop, and see if later in the day I can take out 850. Remember, anything can happen, so I always trade with those three words in mind. POT, kind of, I'm going to quickly see if I can't quickly draw a trend line here. Let's see, line tools. It's kind of easier to use maybe a segment, right? So you kind of picture right here, it sort of broke this trend line, and now, maybe I should have used trend line. Now you've got this little flag, right? So you kind of broke a trend line, and now you're flagging. So over this little flag, this one could get a powerful move higher, especially like the volume back here that started this pop, came all the way back down, but held support, and now you're flagging right below those highs. So it's a decent setup. I haven't traded POT in years, so I'm not that familiar with the way it trades. HAIN had a nice pop up on Thursday, but it put in a red day on Friday inside of Thursday's range. I'm going to see if this will give me a low risk setup to the upside on Monday. We'll see. And then lastly, I've got STEM, which had a huge move, right? Then nothing, then a nice pop, a flag, and then a gap up, and then it came back down, and now it's showing some strength. So this one is building to me, and it looks like it could rip higher again. So that one goes on watch too. Again, all of these only with the proper intraday setup. We'll also be working as a team in the chat room together to build a list of potential gappers to play on Monday. And we have a very specific way, a very specific set of rules that we use to trade the morning gappers. So they have to meet our parameters as well. And when they don't, the beauty of that is we just stay out of them. Okay, so hopefully something on our gap play list will make us rich. Okay, not really make us rich, but give us a nice trade or something on this list. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll see everybody on Monday.